So I was glad to arrive at Miss Havisham's house at about 10 o'clock. It was a large house, made of old stone, and with iron bars on the windows. We rang the bell and waited at the gate. Even then Mr. Pumblechook said, "And 14?" But I pretended not to hear him. Then a young lady came to open the gate and let me in. Mr. Pumblechook was following me when she stopped him. "Do you wish to see Miss Havisham?" she asked. "If Miss Havisham wishes to see me," answered Mr. Pumblechook, a little confused. "Ah," said the girl, "but you see, she doesn't." Mr. Pumblechook dared not protest, but he whispered angrily to me before he turned away, "Boy, behave well here, and remember those who brought you up by hand." I thought he would come back and call through the gate, "And 16?" but he did not. The young lady took me through the untidy garden to the house. Although she called me boy, she was the same age as me, but she seemed much older than me. She was beautiful and as proud as a queen. We went through many dark passages until we reached a door, where she left me, taking her candle with her. I knocked at the door and was told to enter. I found myself in a large room, where the curtains were closed to allow no daylight in, and the candles were lit. In the centre of the room, sitting at a table, was the strangest lady I have ever seen or shall ever see. She was wearing a wedding dress made of rich material. She had a bride's flowers in her hair, but her hair was white. There were suitcases full of dresses and jewels around her, ready for a journey. She only had one white shoe on. Then I realized that over the years the white wedding dress had become yellow, and the flowers in her hair had died, and the bride inside the dress had grown old. Everything in the room was ancient and dying. The only brightness in the room was in her dark old eyes that stared at me. "Who are you?" said the lady at the table. "Pip, madam, Mr. Pumblechook's boy. Come to play." "Come close. Let me look at you." As I stood in front of her, I noticed that her watch and a clock in the room had both stopped at 20 minutes to 9. "You aren't afraid of a woman who has never seen the sun since you were born?" asked Miss Havisham. I am sorry to say I told a huge lie by saying, "No." "Do you know what this is?" she asked, putting her hand on her left side. "Yes, madam." It made me think of my convict's travelling companion. "Your heart, madam," I added. "My heart. Broken," she cried, almost proudly, with a strange smile. Then she said, "I am tired. I want to see something different. Play." No order could be more difficult to obey in that house and that room. I was desperate enough to consider rushing round the table, pretending to be Pumblechook's carriage, but I could not make myself do it, and just stood there helplessly. "I'm very sorry, madam," I said. "My sister will be very angry with me if you complain, but I can't play just now. Everything is so strange and new and sad." I stopped, afraid to say more. Miss Havisham looked down at her dress, and then at her face in the mirror on the table. "So strange to him, so well known to me," she whispered. "So new to him, so old to me, and so sad to us both. Call Estella." When Estella finally came with her candle along the dark passage, Miss Havisham picked up a jewel from her table and put it in Estella's hair. "Very pretty, my dear. It will be yours one day. Now let me see you play cards with this boy." With this boy? But he's a common working boy. I thought I heard Miss Havisham whisper, "Well, you can break his heart." She sat, like a dead body ready for the grave, watching us play cards in the candlelight. I almost wondered if she was afraid that daylight would turn her into dust. "What coarse hands this boy has! And what thick boots!" cried Estella in disgust, before we had finished our first game. I was suddenly aware that what she said was true. "What do you think of her?" whispered Miss Havisham to me. "I think she's very proud," I whispered back. "Anything else?" "I think she's very pretty." "Anything else?" "I think she's very rude, and I'd like to go home." "And never see her again, although she's so pretty?" "I don't know. I'd like to go home now." Miss Havisham smiled. "You can go home. Come again in 6 days' time. Estella, give him some food. Go, Pip." And so I found myself back in the overgrown garden in the bright daylight. Estella put some bread and meat down on the ground for me, like a dog. I was so offended by her behaviour towards me that tears came to my eyes. As soon as she saw this, she gave a delighted laugh and pushed me out of the gate. I walked the 4 miles home to the forge, thinking about all I had seen. As I looked sadly at my hands and boots, I remembered that I was only a common working boy and wished I could be different.